Hello and welcome everybody, I am Brandon. We got a buttload of video game news to talk about today. Gonna be doing things a little bit differently today. We're gonna be doing a news roundup. Yeehaw! Basically, I wanted to cover some of these smaller stories I wasn't able to cover on a bigger Gane Corner episode. Everything from Respawn Entertainment working on 3 new Star Wars games, to Blizzard hiring for an unannounced AAA survival game, and Ubisofts Hyperscape being shut down like 2 years after coming out. We got all that and more on another episode of Gane Corner. Thanks for joining me, everybody. If you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and I'll stop wasting your time. So first things first, we got the PlayStation Plus games for February. We got Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, EA Sports UFC 4, and then for all you PS5 players out there, you get Planet Coaster. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep is actually one of the DLC packs from Borderlands 2. They just kind of ripped it out and made it its own singular game. And the idea is to kind of get people hyped for the new Tiny Tina's Wonderland game that's coming out here in the next couple months. I personally fucking hate Borderlands, but if this is your vibe, I'd definitely pick it up before it goes away. Obviously, EA Sports UFC 4 is a UFC game. And then Planet Coaster is pretty much Roller Coaster Tycoon for the modern age. Definitely make sure you pick those up before they go away in February. Next up, it looks like Respawn Entertainment is working on 3 new Star Wars games. EA actually went out on a limb letting Respawn Entertainment make a single-player Star Wars game that ended up doing really well, when originally they were wary about them even making one in the first place. So it sounds like we're going to be getting a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. It's going to be directed by Stig Asmussen. He's the God of War 3 guy, and obviously the guy behind Jedi Fallen Order 1. Pretty excellent game director, definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to a good action adventure. Looks like we're also going to be getting a FPS game led by Peter Hirschman. He co-created Medal of Honor and has a long history with Lucasfilm. And last but not least, we're going to be getting a strategy game developed by BitReactor. BitReactor is a team made up of a bunch of Firaxis guys who are behind XCOM. I don't know if you know a little game called XCOM. Only one of the most popular strategy games ever created. So yeah, this is pretty exciting though, especially for Star Wars fans. I really enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order 1 myself. So even though I totally knew another one was going to be coming down the line, it's nice to hear that we do have one in development. And obviously Respawn's bread and butter is FPS, so I think they're going to knock it out of the park there. Probably do something really cool, hopefully with like a bounty hunter, or maybe even like a stormtrooper or something like that. And then I do have to correct myself. I did say that they were making 3 games, and actually they're making 2. And then obviously BitReactor is making the strategy game. This one I'm less excited about. I'm not a huge strategy game person, but I know there's a lot of people who really like XCOM and strategy games in general, so I'm sure this will be right up your alley. Next up, we got Warner Bros. Entertainment Jason Kilar saying that Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy are absolutely coming out in the year 2022. He says in his tweet, "This strategy continues in 2022 with a sense of urgency, launching HBO Max in many more countries this quarter and the balance of the year, launching CNN Plus, delivering of a full slate of highly anticipated games." And then he goes on to post a few pictures, one of them being Hogwarts Legacy and one of them being Gotham Knights. Neither of these games have official release dates yet, so this is actually the first we're kind of hearing about these games like kind of officially coming out this year. And personally, I don't really think this means much of anything, honestly. This seems sort of like PR fluff to me. Odds are he didn't even tweet this himself. It was just some PR manager that had put this together and launched this tweet. And that being said, it is very vague. Pretty much saying that they plan on releasing games this year and then just posting 2 pictures of games that they have planned for this year. A lot of people are reading into this to mean that these 2 games are definitively coming out this year, and like I said, I don't really think this means much of anything. While I definitely could see Gotham Knights coming out this year, especially since Suicide Squad just got kind of pushed out till next year, I definitely don't think we're going to see Hogwarts Legacy this year, if it's even a real thing at all, honestly. I kid. I do think it is a real thing. That being said, we have no clue where this game is at. We literally have seen barely anything of it yet. Anyway, you guys let me know down below. You guys think Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy are coming out this year? Me personally, I definitely don't think we're going to see Hogwarts Legacy this year, or maybe even ever. And I could definitely see Gotham Knights hitting the street this year. Alright, so moving on, it looks like Blizzard is hiring for an unannounced AAA survival game. It's supposed to be set in an all brand new world, new characters and new settings. And Mike Ybarra over on Twitter, who originally posted this, said that he even has been playing it recently, which is interesting. Obviously, we're not sure how far along it is in development, but it does lead me to believe that they have something together at this point, and they're probably in some sort of pre-alpha stage. Sounds like they're hiring for a bunch of roles though, including artists and level designers, software engineers, etc. And it definitely kind of looks like it has that isekai vibe where it's like these kids traveling from the normal world into this fantasy dimension. Obviously, we know very little about this game other than it being a AAA survival game made by Blizzard with, you know, some fantasy elements to it. I have a pretty hard time getting excited about anything Blizzard right now, I have to admit. This does sound sort of interesting to me. I was gonna say I'm not a huge like survival game fan, but usually Blizzard makes pretty top-notch video games, and usually game genres that I wouldn't normally play I would try with a Blizzard game just because of the level of quality they put into their games. But like I said, with everything going on over there right now and all this Activision Blizzard stuff, I just really can't get behind getting excited at all about a new Blizzard game, which is unfortunate because it's probably going to be really cool, and I bet there's a lot of really neat people working on it. The only thing I can hope is that they kind of can get their shit together, and hopefully by the time this game actually comes out, we have a better look and idea of what Blizzard is doing with their future. Next up, it looks like Xbox is in the middle of developing a Monster Hunter-like game for Xbox Game Pass. This news was broken by your boy Jeff Grubb the other day and written over on Windows Central. It's codenamed Project Suerte, and it sounds like they've been working on it since about 2020, so maybe like a 2023, 2024 release date sounds about right to me. And from the sounds of it, they did this because asking Capcom for the Monster Hunter license to add to Game Pass would have just been too expensive. So instead of doing that, they were like, I guess we'll make our own. That seems like a really big undertaking, especially with how popular and well-known Monster Hunter is. It's like, what are you going to make a whole new game and try and get people invested in that? It seems like an odd choice. Must have been pretty expensive, I guess. Anyways, being co-developed by Certain Affinity, they helped quite a bit with Halo Infinite, and they did announce at the end of last year that they were working on a new IP, and obviously with all these studios and acquisitions that Microsoft's been making, it's hard to kind of know what game or IP they were talking about, but a lot of us have a feeling this is the one. Obviously, from the sounds of it, like a Monster Hunter Xbox-like game, a lot of people start thinking Scalebound, and I am wondering if they are going to take any like dead bones from that project and kind of implement it into this new game. Definitely curious, so I'll keep an eye on that project for you guys and let you know if we have any more information come down the line. So last but not least, Ubisoft is shutting down their Battle Royale Hyperscape, which came out only less than 2 years ago. They're shutting the game down on April 28th, so if you have any affinity for this game, get your hours in before then. They said in an official blog post, "Contenders, we have made the difficult decision to end development of Hyperscape and shut the game down as of April 28th. We set out to create vertical, close quarters, and fast-paced shooter experience, and we are extremely grateful to our community for joining us on our journey. We will be taking key learnings from this game into future products. To the Hyperscape community, thank you for your passion and dedication to the world of Neo Arcadia, both inside and outside of the game. Your devotion to the game we built will always be cherished. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Sincerely, Hyperscape." I feel like the only thing difficult here is pretending like anyone cared about Hyperscape in the first place, but at least they did some sort of formal thing saying that they're shutting the game down, I guess, instead of just pulling the plug. But yeah, obviously this is a huge L for Ubisoft. Honestly, I don't know if anyone was really surprised about this, and especially coming out of Ubisoft, I mean, I feel like they kind of deserve it at this point. I mean, that's kind of what you get for pumping out garbage and expecting different results.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Anyway, it sounds like it just didn't quite make the cut, and especially with Battle Royales kind of declining in popularity over the last couple years, this one just didn't make it. I actually did play Hyperscape for a few hours when it first came out, and it did have some pretty fun movement and vertical gameplay, I have to admit. But it just wasn't anything special. They did almost nothing new with the formula, and it pretty much had that same old Ubisoft energy to it. It was very focused on microtransactions and had very little to do outside of spending money or spending a lot of your time playing the game. Anyway, it's just another L for Ubisoft in a long line of L's. I'm kind of hoping that they can see all this backlash that they've been getting recently about their games being the same and really not moving anything forward, and hopefully changing that for the better. Obviously, we still have a lot of issues internally with Ubisoft, especially with people like Yves Guillemot in power. And frankly, this is another one of those companies that just needs a complete rework from the bottom up. Anyway, that's about all the news I got for you guys today on this episode of Game Roundup. Yeehaw! Anyway, I'm Brandon. Thanks for joining me, and have a kick-ass week.